What's up, Guardians? Profane here. Today we're taking a look at a surprisingly powerful solar hunter build that will absolutely wreck raid bosses, dungeon bosses, grandmaster bosses, and just about anything else. No matter what kind of enemy that you're going up against, this solar build is going to bring it to its knees. What's most impressive about this build is that not only is it going to maximize your efficiency and damage output, but it's going to improve your allies as well. What makes this build so powerful is the newly revised Foetracer exotic helmet. This comes with the intrinsic trait called Relentless Tracker when dealing any sort of ability damage to a tier 4 enemy or stronger, which does include other guardians. Those targets will become highlighted, and you will receive a ×4 weapon surge to any weapon matching your subclass. This buff will last for 10 seconds, and whenever these highlighted enemies are defeated, an elemental orb will be created. What's really interesting about Relentless Tracker is that you will often get a ×5 weapon surge instead of a ×4. ×4 weapon surges provide a 25% bonus in damage, but there's no data currently in the database for a ×5. This is clearly a glitch with the Foetracers themselves, but it does seem as though that it does provide more of a damage bonus than it should be. This in turn gives us an especially beneficial opportunity with a solar build, since the Hunter's Golden Gun counts as a solar weapon, which means that when Relentless Tracker is active, our Golden Gun shots will reap the benefits of that solar weapon surge. This is really going to amplify your potential when it comes to boss damage, but also when it comes to taking down champions, tormentors, and other high-ranking enemies. Having a damage bonus that can be continuously re-engaged throughout an encounter is something that I find far more beneficial than an exotic that only provides a benefit when using our super. Don't get me wrong, I love the Star Eater scale, and the Celestial Nighthawk is still an amazing option to increase your overall damage. But these exotics are only going to be beneficial for a few seconds, and then they're relatively useless until you have your super again. Since the Foetracers will provide a weapon surge to all solar weapons, we have some flexibility with our boot mods, as we could apply weapon surges to boost the damage of any other energy, or our kinetic weapons, which would then give weapons like the Izanagi's Burden, the Arbalest, or Witherhoard a huge advantage during damage phases. There's also several kinetic shotguns and fusion rifles that can really pack a punch, like the Until Its Return, the rapid fire Taken shotgun that can drop with Surrounded and Overflow. This is low-key one of the highest DPSing shotguns in Destiny right now. There's a few other really good damage bonuses that we can take advantage of when using this solar build. We have Radiance, which we will be triggering off of our Acrobat's dodge. This is going to grant a 25% bonus in weapon damage, which does include our Golden Gun. We've also got the Monochromatic Maestro mod, which is out of this season's artifact. This provides an additional 10% damage that gets applied to both our weapons and our abilities. Communal Pickups is also another good artifact mod to boost damage, but since it only provides a ×3 surge and we are already receiving a ×4 and sometimes 5, there's just no need to run Communal Pickups. When it comes to boss damage, each boss is a little different, so we need to have some variety within our weapon loadouts. When facing bosses like Crota or Ektar, swords are currently the meta, so this will be a good opportunity to grab the Lament. When running any sword, it will be beneficial to run Lucent Blade on your chest piece. This way you can reduce the time that it takes for your heavy attack to charge. Bosses like Oryx require long-ranged precision weapons, so in those situations, you would want a Cataclysmic or the Whisper of the Worm. Many of the other bosses are more susceptible to rockets, so when in those situations, we should be looking at grabbing the Galahorn or the Apex Predator. When you're in the middle of a damage phase, every second counts, and the biggest contributor to wasted time is reloading. So having reloader mods on your gloves will be another crucial component towards maximizing your damage. This is also why we want weapon perks that automatically refill their magazines, like Reconstruction, Overflow, Envious Assassin, or Auto Reloading. Having ammo for those high DPS weapons will be imperative, so making sure we're running heavy ammo finder will be crucial, and it never hurt anyone to throw on heavy scout so that your teammates can also get some of that heavy. Since we do have to strike an enemy with an ability to trigger the Foetracers damage bonus, we will need to ensure that we are able to regenerate our abilities as quickly as possible. We are utilizing Ember of Singeing to grant bonus ability energy when scorching targets, and Ember of Searing so that we'll gain bonus melee energy when defeating scorched targets. This also creates Fire Sprites, which grant 12.5% grenade energy. With grenades in mind, we are currently running healing grenades, and I know, it takes away an ability that would trigger our Foetracer buff, but there's a big reason as to why we're running healing grenades. I find it more beneficial in raids and other in-game level content to run healing grenades, and not just to improve my own survivability, but so that I can help out allies who may be struggling. Trip mine and incendiary grenades are great otherwise, but it's hard to put up any amount of damage against anything if you're struggling to stay alive. Using a weighted knife will scorch and ignite targets and regenerate class ability energy instantly, but knife trick is typically easier for most newer players to use effectively. Gunpowder Gamble is a great addition to this setup since it gives you another component to trigger Foetracers and apply that additional damage, especially if you're using healing grenades. But we are currently using On Your Mark and Knock 'em Down, so we can have an additional solar fragment to use. We'll get enhancements towards our golden gun, and we'll be able to increase the reload speed and weapon handling for us and all of our allies. When it comes to our choice in armor, our first goal is to prioritize resilience, mobility, and strength. This is going to help keep us alive, and it's going to grant us the fastest cooldown of our dodge and throwing knife. We want to maintain weapon surges for as long as possible, and by using a helmet siphon mod along with a Reaper mod, we'll be generating a ton of orbs. Since we already have several things refilling our throwing knife, we are using 2 impact induction mods on our gloves so that we will generate 25% grenade energy whenever we strike an enemy with a throwing knife. The last few mods that you might consider utilizing with this build will be Charged Up and Time Dilation, so that you can extend the overall time in which you have armor charges. And with that, I do believe we have now covered everything there is to cover on this new, powerful Solar Hunter build featuring the Foetracers. I hope you've enjoyed today's video, and I hope that it's helped out. If so, then be sure to hit that like button below, along with the subscribe button if you're new. Both are greatly appreciated and both really do help support the channel. If you've already tried out the Foetracers on a solar build, then be sure to let me know what your impressions were down in the comments below. And if you're wanting to match this build, mod for mod, be sure to check out the Destiny item manager link listed in the description below. But until next time, Guardians, this has been Profane, wishing you all some happy hunting.